Mars de Skelly has been called the future of the club. But is that club Arsenal? Welcome back to the channel, guys. Really impromptu video this. I'm going to try to get some more news kind of bites out. But the last few hours, a really fascinating, a little bit concerning development has come out about Myles Lewis-Skelly. Now, I'm going to kind of go through my view on the whole situation, go through what's been said, because this has been broken by Sky Sports News, a pretty reputable media source. So I'll go through, the facts or the opinions from Sky Sports, and then I'll go through other bits that we know and put together the puzzle, essentially. So Sky Sports News are essentially saying that there are multiple Premier League clubs that are really interested and are monitoring Myles Lewis-Skelly. And the situation has basically stemmed from Thomas Tuchel essentially giving him a stern warning about the 2026 World Cup. He's been really, really clear that Lewis-Skelly needs more game time if he's going to get into that World Cup squad. Now, he omitted him from that group that faced Serbia and Albania, and Tuchel stated that he simply needs more starts, he needs more minutes. I don't think any of us can kind of argue with that. He did have some really interesting wording, Tuchel always does, but he said that being a good tourist is not going to be enough to be a valuable member of the squad. So, looking at his numbers, Myles has not been playing much in the Premier League. He's played a total of 87 minutes in the Premiership, and he's made just 7 Premier League appearances as substitute. So he seemingly lost that starting berth to Ricardo Calafiori, and at the moment, to be fair, Calafiori has been absolutely fantastic this season. He had a little bit of a wobbly game against Sunderland, but when the opportunity rose, Arteta still didn't bring in Myles, and I think that speaks volumes about what he wants to do in the Premier League competition. Myles has also got to deal with the competition from the summer signing of Pierre Nketiah, who is seemingly being used as a left centre-back, but can play as a left-back as well. So Myles' prime kind of job right now is playing in the Champions League, and it seems that Arteta's going for this left-hand side dynamic of Trossard with Calafiori in the Premiership, and then in the Champions League it's Martinelli and Myles. Because of that, especially with Martinelli's injury currently, I don't think we're going to see much of Myles at the moment. However, the whole situation is crazy to think that Arteta's going to look at that and say, do you know what? I'm going to send out a player on loan. And I just think that's crazy. So let's just go for it. So it's a real change of fortune for him. Like, he was a breakthrough star last season. He started regularly in the second half of the season. He scored in his England debut against Albania back in March. And he's gone on to win a further 5 caps for England. He started 5 of the last 8 games. Recently, O'Reilly has played for Tuchel. He's been in a rich vein of form. Did really well against Liverpool as well for Man City. And they've noted that O'Reilly's slightly ahead of Myles for this camp. But that's down to his starts. And I think if we're looking really at it, I think long-term, that is obviously subject to change. So with all these other kind of Premier League clubs monitoring the situation, are Arsenal actually going to let him leave in January? And let's be honest, I could go on and on and on about it, but the short answer is no. Arsenal are not looking to sell players in January, let alone one of their absolute stars from Hale End in Myles. Like, they're competing on 4 different fronts. So we've got the League Cup, the FA Cup, the Champions League, and the Premier League. And we know that we've seen it in our front line. We are subject to injuries. We have this injury curse. Like, can we really lose another number? I'd argue no. Like, furthermore, Myles has just signed a new contract back in June. So that takes him up to 2030. So it's a 5-year contract. He's getting now a base pay of, I think, 45 grand a week, according to Capology. And he's seeing other players from Howler and do the same. You know, he can see the pathway through which Saka has shown. His best friend in Ethan Winery is there. He's signed a new contract. There's a clear pathway for young players at Arsenal. Arsenal, like many, many big clubs, see January as more of a reactive window and for focusing on like recruitment efforts in the summer instead of then. Like, are we even going to really see any incomings in January? I mean, if we continue with injury problems up top, that's a real possibility. If there is a real statement signing that suddenly arises, again, possibly. But if I was a betting man, I'd probably say that we're going to, most likely go in the summer for someone big. It'll be a long-term plan. It's not going to be something that Berta just suddenly goes and does. We've had huge outlays this summer. And if you lose Myles, you're going to have Calafiori, who's had big injury concerns and an injury history. You've got Hincapié, and we don't know how robust he's going to be in the Premier League or how he's going to actually develop at a left-back role or a left centre-back role. If you suddenly end up with an injury to Calafiori, Hincapié has to go in. We then lack cover out in that position. And then if, God forbid, there's an injury to Gabriel, we're in a position where, we're looking at similar to last year where we're having to play players completely out of position and we're going to have to change the system. It's not good. I guess you could argue in terms of PSR, it's going to be 100% profit for profit and sustainability. If we were to sell, but we're just simply not looking to sell. It's crazy. So this brings us to the debate. Should Myles stay or should he go? I don't think he would go anywhere. Like, let's think about it. In terms of development, his development has been just astronomical. He's shown so much progress in such a short period of time that should speak to him, that should speak to the people around him about the fact that, he's in the right setting for him. He has been afforded a position by Arteta and a system that really benefits him playing at left back. I don't know how many teams would be able to kind of say to him, yes, we can play you in that midfield role at the moment. And I don't know if that really helps with his progress really as well, because it's all good and well playing as a left back and stepping into midfield. But when you're starting in midfield, it's a very, very different ball game. And I think the real long-term strategy for MLS is that, he understands his game. He understands the Premier League. He understands our game. And over the next 3 to 4 years, he starts to develop as a centre midfielder. But going on alone doesn't afford him that time. And he's achieved so much in the last 12 months. Let's think about some of the big performances he's had. So he went to the Bernabeu. He went against Man City and scored. And he had that famous celebration in the Haaland celebration. And there's like a strong feeling that he backs himself. We've seen it, and he's shown us time and time again that he does this. I think he'd be someone that backs himself to get his left back spot back. He reminds me in certain ways of the complete antithesis of a Ainsley Maitland-Niles. Sorry, the name completely eluded me there. He's like the complete opposite. Maitland-Niles had this opportunity to play as a fullback or a wingback at times. He wanted to play in midfield. And I don't think Maitland-Niles made the right choice. And I hope Myles would look at that situation and think to himself, it's not the right choice. But I think at the same time, he'd back himself to get the position back. He's been absolutely fantastic. And he really does complement other players here. And I don't know if that'd be the same case at other clubs. From Arsenal's perspective, letting him go even on loan makes little sense. He's a versatile cover for lots of positions. He's starting about 2 or 3 games at the moment. So he's getting game time. And I'd argue, really, over the course of a season, that's probably enough to play for England. He's training daily with one of the best squads in Europe, not even in England. I don't understand why Myles would go, why we would let him go, I'll be honest. The only thing for me would be the pressure from Tuchel, but again, I don't really like that. I agree to a certain extent, but when you look at our left back options, not like we have a plethora of left backs at the moment. And he is one that can do a really specific job for England that the others can't. I don't know. The overwhelming takeaway for me is that Lewis-Skelly will not be leaving Arsenal. And I think there is a possibility he becomes our left back, starting left back in the Premier League again, the majority of games, if there is a problem with Calafiori or if his form drops off. I do believe we will see Nketiah step in at some point with Eze. I think that's a really interesting dynamic. But he'll make this World Cup squad. He will get plenty of minutes at Arsenal. And I just can't see it happening. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button. Subscribe. There will be more insights. There will be more stuff like this. I'll try to pump out more content for you guys. And just remember, you guys know football. I just talk it. Catch you in the next one.